My pleasure to welcome you to West Quay in Southampton today. I know you've had a good trip down and a little bit of entertainment, but improving your knowledge about lots of things about Southampton and Hammerson. So well done to the team on that. And a few of you have come in from farther afield. So thank you for making the time. I know it's been a busy week. We haven't quite got the temperature of others that may have had early in the week, but we've certainly got a fantastic scheme. And as you can see, creating desirable destinations is very much the vision of Hammerson, but also I think you're going to see that in practice today. We're very proud of a scheme that is over 15 years old in its creation, but my view still looks as good as the day it was built, and obviously been augmented with this fantastic catering, leisure and destination from an experience point of view, West Quay South, which you'll see later on. Now I'm going to say a few words of introduction and then I'm going to hand over to Mark Bourgeois, our UK and Irish MD. He'll introduce the team and the wider day. But I think it's worth just reflecting for a moment in terms of where we are, and actually it's pleasing that our share price has taken a little tick up this morning, because I have to say in the last month or two it's felt like it's only been going in one direction. But to be fair, we probably can't complain too much, because it's really been a factor of the almost global retail REIT market that there is a sense of doom around this sector. And I think what we're certainly showing you today is that far from gloom, there's every reason to be optimistic. And my absolute and fundamental belief is this is a complete overreaction to an evolution in the retail landscape. And companies like Hammerson, owning the very best retail, have got a great future ahead of them. It's fair to say as well that with 44% of our portfolio outside of the UK, that we are very much a balanced pan-European platform, and largely sheltered from what is, we acknowledge, quite a difficult UK consumer and retail landscape. And this morning's update that we put out this morning, I think sort of really underpins our confidence in our assets, our offer, and the people that work on them. We've continued that very strong leasing momentum that we've seen for the last couple of years, with today reporting leasing volumes up 17% year on year, and that's 11% above ERV. Furthermore, retail sales, which have been struggling in the UK, you only need to open the newspaper to see that. We've seen an improving trend in our UK portfolio, which we're pleased about, and we've seen a strong bounce in our French sales after a difficult first half of the year. And the reason for this leasing success, I suppose, really is the focus of today, as I've said. We're positioned to benefit from the structural trends in retail, and West Quay itself will illustrate this with respect to the polarization of the shopping centre market. And equally, our retail parks is a great complementary portfolio for that experience-led offer, providing retailers and ultimately consumers with what they want in terms of a convenient offer. Other highlights in our trading statement were our growth markets. Ireland continues to go from strength to strength, retail sales up around 4%, and we've done some great deals with people like Moss Bros, Hotel Chocolat and Smiggle. And our outlets, again, well, what do we need to say about outlets? They've continued to do what they pretty much always do, showed very strong growth, double-digit growth in VR and VIA, and that is without taking account of the extension that we've just opened at Bicester. And if you haven't been up there, it is well worth a visit. And those of you who have struggled getting to the car parks even in the past because of the demand, more car parking means even more accessible. So in summary, we have confidence that we have resilience in our core markets. We have very strong leasing demand across those core markets, and we have that additional growth from our higher growth markets of Ireland and outlets. But I just want to spend a final minute or two just focusing in on this pan-European diversified nature of our portfolio. This map just shows our UK and French and Irish shopping centres. And there's no doubt that the market continues to polarise. And we believe prime locations are becoming more attractive not only to the consumer and retailers, but obviously to investors as well. And in that regard, our portfolio is very well positioned. 48% of our shopping centres are in Europe, and the majority are focused in growing markets focused around the top 15 cities in Europe. And you'll see from the slide, nearly 90% of the portfolio is ranked externally as a top 30 national schemes. In short, we have the right assets in the right catchments. They were very well designed and they've been very well invested. And it's that reason, again, we have confidence in continuing to deliver income growth very much in line with the guidance we've given in previous announcements. I'm going to pause there and hand over to Mark. I hope you have a great day. Lots of opportunity to ask questions, not only in the presentations, but obviously as we wander around. And I hope you all enjoy it. Mark.
Thank you, David, and good morning. And for me also, welcome to Southampton. It's great to have you all here. Now, we've got a full and diverse agenda for you all today. We're going to talk market backdrop, leasing trends, the evolution of the store, and creating desirability. And I'm going to introduce the team one by one as we go through, but you can see what we have planned for the next couple of hours. Lunch will be over at West Quay South in our new developments at 1 o'clock. And after lunch, we've got a real treat in the cinema before Pete and the team take you round on a tour of West Quay. So we want to keep this engaging. What we'll do between each of these sessions, we'll have a couple of questions, but then clearly over lunch and on the walk round, there's the opportunity for plenty more Q&A. So please use that opportunity to talk to all of the Hamilton home team. So I'm going to kick off with a bit of scene setting, what's happening on the ground in retail. And there's 4 trends which I will pick out. The first around the cyclical consumer spending squeeze. Now, there's no doubt that consumer disposable income is being squeezed as inflationary pressures are eroding real wage growth. But we feel that high unemployment levels mean that consumer confidence is holding up. Our markets are at differentiating points in the cycle. On this top left chart, you can see the consumption growth cycles between France, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. The UK, we do expect the tough environment to get worse before it gets better. France is still enjoying the tail of the European economic upswing and is likely to prove more resilient, whilst Ireland is still in economic recovery and growing at the fastest GDP rate in Europe. Second key trend, the retailer headwinds. Now, clearly, there are some significant headwinds hitting the retailers, but this is not as bad as the media implies. And this top right-hand chart illustrates the point. Retail is a dynamic environment, and there's always a lot of churn. In the UK, we're seeing store closures, but according to a local data company, the number of store openings in the first 6 months just outweighed the number of closures. And we're seeing that playing out in our own portfolio with record leasing volumes alongside stable occupancy of 97%. Now, the bottom chart focuses on the different categories of fashion, and we want to talk a little bit about fashion and what differentiates those categories. There's clearly been quite a lot of press around about fashion and some of the challenging areas, but we think it's important to break this down. Now, fashion sales in Q3 are stabilised after a difficult H1, which was hit by election and certainly some terrorist incidents. There are winners and losers here. On the left-hand side of the chart, you can see ladies' fashion has been particularly hit. That's been down 6%, and these are year-to-date Hammerson portfolio. And certainly we've seen slowdowns in some of the mainstream clothing brands, New Look, Topshop, to name two. Consumers have become less seasonally focused and more ethical, and they want more authentic brands. And as a result, we've seen greater interest and sales performance from brands such as Fred Perry, Vans, Ben Sherman. You'll hear a bit more about that from Ian in the leasing piece. Quality sports fashion or athleisure is doing well, with sports and outdoor up 7%. Now, consumers prefer clothing. They offer the chance to layer up according to the season. So we're seeing good performance from the likes of North Face, Trespass, Foot Locker. Men's fashions also perform well, up 5%, and that's clearly the recent trend in male grooming. But so brands such as John Anthony, Pretty Green and Scott's are performing well in our centres. And also another trend coming out of here, consumers are prioritising spending on experiences. So sales in leisure up 18%, leisure and travel in our centres year to date. So, next slide. We're continuing to see market polarisation and the merging of retail and leisure. And what this slide does is it illustrates the evolution of retail space. Now, retailing has got the unique ability to innovate, and so too have retail destinations. The aptly described shopping centre of the 1990s has evolved into a multifunctional venue. We've seen the emergence of shopping and dining, destination leisure, into seamless multi-channel, and it's continually adapting now as a destination, as a distribution hub and a brand experience. In the UK, we have one of the highest levels of online penetration, which gives us the advantage of being experts and front runners in developing centres to serve seamless multi-channel retail. The volume of online transactions is expected to grow, and we welcome this. Our centres will continue to evolve and adapt to that growing online sales. In the forecasts on the right, global data confirm what we are already beginning to see, and that's around supermalls and why supermalls are drawing greater sales. Here in a place like West Quay, with an abundance of the best retailers, exciting events and high quality food and beverage and leisure, they will outperform market and continue to capture a greater share of sales. Now, we're in the business for 9 months now, and certainly when I spoke at the half H1 results, it was good to note the strength of our people and our assets. And today I'm really delighted to be part of a team that's highlighting Hammerson's winning shopping centre strategy. We're capitalising on the structural trends of polarisation and the evolution of the retail and leisure venue, and we're demonstrating resilience through tough consumer backdrop in the UK. I think there's three themes you're really going to get a sense of today. The first is leasing momentum. The reason we pick the word momentum, and there's a reason for that, we create momentum by investing in places where retailers and leisure occupiers want to be. We combine that with some deep relationships with our occupiers, which means we can pick up the phone and we can get things done. Our pan-European scale also drives that momentum, gives us leverage to look at group deals and we'll make sure that we're at the top of the pile when it comes to dealing with an issue with any of our occupiers. So notwithstanding some very tough negotiations, and they are tough, Ian will give you a sense of that, you'll really get a sense of the momentum behind our leasing activity today. Secondly, you're going to get a real sense of our focus on desirability. David has introduced that. It's clearly our vision. It's what we spend a lot of time talking about at Hammerson, creating desirability and what it means for our customers. For us, it's about many things. It's about creating iconic destinations that inspire and draw people in. But it's also really important in the community context. It's about building the emotional connections with the communities in which we invest. Commercially, our centres employ over 40,000 people, 80% of which are local. So we're invested heavily in the local economy. Lifetime memories and habits are formed between our customers and our centres. And I think of Brent Cross, where you now have mums who shop there with their mums, now enjoying the vibrant retail environment with their own now grown-up Generation Y daughters. These places are culturally significant within the communities in which they appear. And all that contributes to desirability, and you're going to hear more about that from Sophie later. We also have an enviable skill set. In the past 12 months, we've been awarded Best Landlord by the Retailers Association, the PMA, and we were recognised as Best Retail and Leisure Developer at the prestigious EG Awards. And we're all really proud of those recognitions. The skills at all level in our business, certainly not just from not just directly property, retail, online, digital skills. One of the reasons our food and beverage leasing team is so strong, Sarah Fox is here today. Where is Sarah? Yes, so you'll meet Sarah later. Sarah spent many years running her own restaurants, and indeed a chap just joined Sarah's team, Mike Edgerton, who in his own right is an entrepreneur with an events and street food market business. So F&B leasing is not easy. We do it well, and that's just one example of the skill set, the wider skill set you're going to see here today. So as we said, please make the most of speaking to all my Hammerson colleagues who are here. So one final slide from me, our product experience framework. This is the heart, this is the operating model. This is the model that we apply consistently to every one of our shopping centres. It's about 4 key headings: iconic destinations. This is about world-class architecture created with community and transportation integration at its heart. It's the architecture that inspires people I referred to earlier. Differentiated retail. This is about having the right retailers to fit our customer profile. So it involves the well-established retailers, as well as exciting new brand showcases and concepts. And again, here at West Quay, you'll see a lot of how we've curated that differentiated retail offer as you walk around. It's about experience-led. Clearly, it's about surprising and delighting our customers in everything that we do. And of course, it's customer first. It's about driving customers through our centres to spend more time and more of their disposable income, whether that's online or in their centres, but as a result of having visited our schemes. It's about improving the customer experience at every level of what we do. And of course, running on the bottom of here is positive places. It's about everything we do it in a sustainable way. And Louise Ellison, our head of sustainability, is here as well, who'll be also delighted to tell you a bit more as we walk around about some of the things we're doing both here in West Quay and across the portfolio.